Hi, before I show the video, I just want to quickly explain why I cancelled it. The reason is I'm just not interested into this. I lost my motivation, I just simply got tired of it. Plus, it's a big video, it was just too much work. It's not like 10 minutes, it's half an hour or something. Maybe, but it's really long. And another thing is, I don't know how Slovene copyright works. It's not like in America where it has a fair use or whatever, and Slovenia, I don't think it's like that. And I'm like, oh, can I use some of the footage? Can I use even pictures? So I'm just a little skeptical about the copyright in Slovenia, so I just didn't want to do it. Sadly, this isn't my first time that I cancel my project. In fact, it happened to me before, and it will probably happen again. I don't know if that happens to you, but when I make a project or idea, I get bored of it like later, and I'm like, when I'm gonna finish this? I'm so tired of it. And then I see the next idea while I work on the other project, and when I see the new idea, I'm like, oh my god, this is better than this one. I'm gonna get rid of that project and move on to the next. I don't know. Maybe I just had a high expectation to finish it soon, as I did for the art of Digo Pictures, which I did in 2 or 3 months. But I guess not. But I'll still show the video even though it's not finished, including a clip that a YouTuber voice acted for me, The Suited Bird. I also told him that I cancelled, and he was pretty cool with it, so everything's fine. I just want to move on from this project and just move on. I hope you enjoy it, even though once again it's not finished. In fact, it's only like the third of the video that I finished. Enjoy.
Warning, this is a non-monetized documentary. There is no association with companies that are mentioned in this documentary. Videos, artworks and music are used under fair use for educational purposes.
Let me tell you about a small cartoon show from Europe called Boyan the Bear. It's about Boyan who likes to paint his own imaginary world with three primary colors: red, blue, and yellow. But then something bad happens each time he does. Luckily, he always fixes the problem with his trusty paintbrush. It has over 30 episodes, they are around 5 minutes long, and it lasted for 21 years. It has good animation, charming music, and great characters with cute designs. Now, where do you think it was made? In France, who is the biggest producer of animation in Europe? In Czech Republic, who had the golden age of animation in the 80s? I mean, this show was created in 1978, so it could be true, right? Nope. What about in Spain? In United Kingdom? In Finland? None of them are correct. It was actually created in Slovenia, one of the smallest countries in Europe, and yet it has a beautiful natural heritage. Now, why is this surprising? The fact that this show called Boy and the Bear was created in Slovenia. Well, that's because they never had the best animation budget in the 20th century. In fact, it was one of those countries that couldn't afford as much to animate as big studios like Disney in America or Studio Ghibli in Japan, but they still tried to make a good quality. And Slovenia sure succeeded that, because right now they are better than ever before in animation quality and budgets. Sure, they're not the biggest producer of animation in the world, nor in Europe like France, but nowadays they upgraded so much that it seems like a miracle to Slovenes. How did this all happen? This is where I come along. Hi, I'm MK-711 and I'll tell you the whole history. But before I start, I just want to mention something. I want to give a big thank you to a writer of this book titled Filmography of Slovenian Animated Film. It is written by Igor Praser. Now yes, it is updated to 2012, but I updated it to today with my own research. However, he still wrote most of the important events. So thank you once again for making this book and making my research easier. I mean, without it, it would be a lot of work to do. So yeah, I want to give a big shout out to Igor Praser. Now, where are we? Oh yeah, so in this documentary, we will talk about the history of Slovene animation, starting with the unofficial early age. Now you may be asking, why is it unofficial? Well, we don't have much evidence or even materials besides interviews with people, either from children or from friends of experimentalists. That's why it is not mentioned as much when we talk about Slovene animation, simply because it doesn't have much evidence. But I still want to mention it regardless. And since there are no materials to see, I'll try to make my own, so any footage you see right now are made by me. Anyways, let's begin. Unofficially, the first animator in Slovenia is a guy named Veličan Bešter, who is one of the first photographers and filmmakers in Slovenia besides Janez Buchar, who is actually an inventor of photography on glass. According to his daughter Velena, besides photography and filmmaking, he also did some animation. Between 1925 and 1931, he made two of them. A puppet film called A Doll in the Traditional Dress, and the other one is, get this, an animation of Mickey Mouse. Kind of interesting if you ask me. Sure, he's a famous character, but keep in mind, he was created in 1928, and this guy who isn't much famous in Europe made an early animation. And that's pretty much it. We don't know how they look like or even the plots. All we know is that they existed one day and then got lost forever, which is very unfortunate. I mean, who knows, maybe they're just experimental films and don't have any actual plot. Fun fact, Veličan Bešter also established the first film studio in 1922 called Slovenia Film, which he then changed the name into Illyria Film. The next person in this age is Ivan Marinček. He recorded some of the classic films such as Kekec, On Our Own Land, and Don't Cry Peter, so he's very much known. In 1934, when he was 12 years old, he brought a 2-meter long movie reel. He made 12 seconds of animated situational humor, and wholesome enough, it was projected on a kitchen wall by a hand-cranked projector. This time, we actually know the plot of it, and it looks something like this. But as you know this age, it got lost. However, this got reconstructed in 1999 by Dusan Polch, Borko Radešček, and of course, Ivan Marinček himself. Unfortunately, we can see this version as well. The last person is Yuri Lenasi. This has the least information. The only one is according to Connie Steinbacher. In 1940 in Portorož, he animated 2 minutes of family cartoon. Again, no plot, no pictures. So again, we have no idea how it looks like, or for that matter, what does it mean by family cartoon. There is no explanation for it. We don't even know who this person is, we only know him as one-time animator. And that is the unofficial early age. Not much information, but still interesting nonetheless. Let's move on to the age where it officially starts the animation in Slovenia.
You know this whole world is a great world after all. Smile, Danya, smile, and right away watch the...
So, before I tell you main events, I just want to mention a few facts of what was it like to animate in Slovenia after World War II. First of all, there were two companies that mostly produced animation, Film and Film. However, even though they had enough budget to make films, they didn't however have enough budget to animate. In Slovenia, they did not have any animation school, so to be an animator in Slovenia, you must learn it somewhere else in Europe. And even when you do, when you try to work with Film or Film, it would be a messy production. As I said, they didn't have enough materials to animate, nor any knowledge of it, nor any interest at all. But that was the only problem for traditional animation. The other option they had is animating with puppets, like stop motion.
Did someone say stop motion?
Well, yeah, but who are you exactly?
My name is Mr. Steven, and I love showing the process of any sort of animation. Now, shall we explain and demonstrate stop motion?
Sure. I want to make this documentary interesting.
Fantastic! I'll take over, MK.
Wait, how do you know?
You see, stop motion is an animation technique where you take a photo of each individual frame at a time, making an illusion of movement. There are many types of stop motion: claymation, object motion, cutout motion, and pixelation. Claymation is where each animated piece is made out of clay. The best example are movies and cartoons from Aardman Animation. Object animation is where you use inanimate objects to animate. The best example are stop motion videos where people use Legos. Cutout motion is where you use collage papers to animate. The best example is a show called South Park, well, the early seasons. And the last one is pixelation, where you can use people as figures. In movies like Nightmare Before Christmas, people use some sort of skeleton that is covered by clay. That way it is much easier to animate. And that is stop motion. Back to you.
Well, thank you for watching. I didn't expect that you watched the whole thing. I hope you enjoyed it. I just didn't want to put it into waste. So yeah, have a good day as always. Bye.